So I was thinking, perhaps for easy, what domain do I want easy to fit into? Well, I like building CLI tools. I think they're pretty fun. Um, I like learning about different areas, but I've kind of fallen into like CLI tools. Um, they're pretty interesting, and so I think that's the domain I think easy would fall under, or I would like for it to naturally fall under. There, for me, there are kind of like two schools of thought. Easy as an introductory language, aside like a kind of akin to like a Python uh, or C maybe. Um, so like you're a CS student or you're just someone learning a program. Easy is meant to be very approachable. So much so that certain things that look um, stupid as hell work. I mean, there's an alias for this, but like it's just a while loop. So you can do as long as. It's meant to look kind of like pseudocode as you're writing these things. So there's that school of thought. Like you're just someone, a CS student, and you want to mess with a compiled language, but nothing that's too complicated, like a Rust. Um, I can't really speak much on Zig, but maybe you want to try easy, or you want to create, or you're in that same school of thought. You are a beginner and you want to try a language that's not Python because you may not like the indentation syntax, or you don't want something that's interpreted. Try easy. Um, and then the same goes with like the other school of thought being if you want specific tools, like you want something different. I don't know. With that all being said, I'm thinking about possibly creating a CLI tool for Easy or written in Easy. I was working on Ostrich DB, which was in itself is it's a CLI with an engine and everything, a storage engine and all that. But that is actually much more complicated. There's a lot more features that need to be implemented into the language. So I think I want to create a text adventure game of some sort. And so I think the best place to start would be just kind of just going, you know. So we're gonna create a hero struct. Also, if I might be talking very low, I'll turn myself up just a tad. I don't want to wake anybody up. Can't wake the boss up. Spelled struct wrong, but yeah, we're gonna have a hero, and the hero's gonna have a name, and they're gonna have a class, and we'll set that to type class. Um, and they'll have. I'm trying to think. So I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons. In fact, we might not even call them a hero. We might call them an adventurer. Hero might be easier, but a hero has a name. Um, hero has a class. They have a subclass as well, and subclass is dependent on that. So, like in Baldur's Gate 3 or in D&D, you have like all kind of stuff, but we'll try to keep this basic. And you kind of have like a bio, which would just be a string, I guess, and stats will be types like stat array, something like that. I think I'm missing something. Name, class, oh, like a race, like are you an orc? Um, an orc, human, half elf, whatever, halfling, whatever. Okay, so I guess we could just keep it with those three. Maybe like dwarf as well. We'll keep it basic. And then class. Now this will most likely actually be a and so we'll keep it basic. We'll have a knight, a mage, a bard, and a paladin. Or let's go for like ranger or something like that. That'll be good. And yeah, we'll do that. And now stat. A stat is going to be a struct. So I guess the stat will have a name. Max value. We'll use floats for this. Current value. It'll have a description as well. Current value and I don't know. I may rename this to attribute. Something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we'll do that for now. And I'll think about the rest of for our types in a little bit. So what are we going to need? We're going to need a command line. So let's actually bring all our types and shit to the top of the freaking file. And then we're going to import, probably going to need arrays. And probably going to need maps. And another thing, so something easy you can do is you can do this. This is an import in use statement. So as opposed to doing import arrays and maps, and then if you so choose doing this, now that brings everything in arrays standard library module into file scope and thus function scope. You can just do this too, comma, or you can just do import and use, and that does it all. It does the same thing. So that's pretty cool. All right, and main function. Here we go. Or no, do handle command line. This will return an integer for now. And let's do mute user in. It's going to be input. And we always have to parse it, right? So we're going to want, I like to make helpers. We'll call it in for now. And it will return array streams like that. Beautiful. And then we'll just call that actually, yeah, we'll do that. Parsed in. Okay, so now we need our main loop here, so we just do loop and actually let's do this. Mute state int, that's initialized to 0 as long as state Okay, let's see. So let's cd into game, and let's do /easy main.easy. Oh, shoot. Oh, right. N is N is a user in. We'll just call it user in. 2 errors. What do we got? Function one must return a value. Not very user care about that. Function parse user input must return it. Okay, right. We're gonna need strings too. Let's go ahead and import strings. I'm gonna go back down, zoom in a little bit, and we're going to do mute parsed equals. Actually, don't do that. We can just do return strings dot split, and we're going to split user input by spaces, and that'll be that. What's the error? A lot of warnings. References undefined. Oh, subclass. Right. Forgot about that. Let's just comment that for now. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so let's go back to main, and we're going to call mute. We're going to ignore that for now, the return value. No, we won't ignore it. We'll it's there for a reason. That's why I have it this way. That's why it's in the language, for you to utilize that value in some capacity. What's the problem? Fine. Oh, I misspelled it. Okay. So now we have the parsed input, and we can see, make sure it's parsing correctly. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to do something with that. So we can do that with the when is. Oh, it is a string. Yeah, we'll do when is. So when is it evaluates that condition. So in parsed, actually, we do have an array. Let's initialize some sort of main menu. I'm jumping around a lot, but trust the process. Trust the process. And this will return a string, which is what the user chooses. We won't do that. We'll start off fresh every time. Welcome to the unnamed text adventure game written in easy. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead. Now this file is going to get real cluttered real quick. So what I'm actually going to do is go here. I'm going to make a new file inside of our playground, which is where we're at, and we're just going to call it lib.utils.easy. I like that. And up here, all we have to do is we can do import, and we can give it an alias, utils. We can make it whatever we want. We could call it u. Well, not whatever we want. There are stipulations, but we'll call it utils for now. And it'll be ./utils.easy, I believe. We're calling it from game, so and we're gonna go ahead and move all this kind of shit over types and everything. Okay. Now, the menu. What do we want on the menu? Show main menu. And it won't return anything. So, showing the main menu, we want to do something else. We need to create our constants real quick. So let's go ahead and do that. Constants. And we're going to have one called menu items. Main menu items. It's going to be a string array. So when you create a constant in Easy, you have to have the type annotated. And when you have a constant array, you have to have, of course, the type and the size of the array. Right? So Easy allocates that. Now you can say I want to have 10. It's going to hold 10 elements, but you can assign 3. That's fine. You'll get a warning, but that's fine. You can do that. It's a little verbose. I think for some people might not like that, but that's okay. That's all good. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So let's go ahead and do new game. We're going to do load game, which doesn't do anything forever probably, but let's go to settings, and then let's go with exit. Alright. Now, what I actually might do is just map. Make a map. I might do that. I'll think about it. Okay. For each item in main menu items, print, and then we're gonna do this. Oh, also we need mute iota int iota plus equals 1. And so we'll need to do this iota, whatever iota is, and then item. And I think that should be good. It starts at 0, so we're actually going to set this to 1. No, we'll leave it at 0. We'll just do that. Okay, now in handle, I actually have not written this statement like this. I've done it for standard library modules, but never for user-defined import. So let's see, handle main menu, show main menu. Oof. What do we got? Parse user input. Right. So that means I'm not importing. Okay. That might be busted. Let's try with the using utils. No. Okay, so it's not that. It must be. So they're all on this. They're both. There is a command also for, I think it's like, silent, no, Q. Yeah, Q all. All? Is it use all? Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's what we need. Undefined variable iota. Did I not? I'm gonna bring this over. Close that, and let's go back to 2. Mute iota int iota. Alright, and what else we got? Function handle main menu must return a value. Got it. Control main menu. Handle main menu. This will be this doesn't actually have to return anything. Technically, not right now. Okay, please make a decision. Let's clean that up real quick. So dot space and please make a decision. There we go. Please make a decision. Welcome to the Unnamed Text Adventure game. Please make a decision. What would you like to do? Okay, so at this point, we should probably specify by entering the corresponding number. Alright, now handle the command line. No, I'm not worried about that right now. Okay, so we need to convert the input to we would need 2 different command lines. One for the main menu, which is very small, and what we'll do is we'll call this handle main menu selection. Okay. We don't need to parse it right now. We'll comment it out because we're gonna need that later. So if user input user in equals int user in. Now this could be a problem. So we should actually probably check for do check valid main menu input. So this is an easy one we can do. We can either do something like, we could just declare an array here, so like const valid equals, or like we could do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. If strings dot to and no. Shoot. We can do this. Hold on. We could just do easy man built-ins. So easy man. It just takes any value. Yeah. I'm doing this wrong. Is valid. We default it to false. Just return it here. We should default it to true. And all we have to do here is valid equals false. Return is valid. And then what was the other error? Specs one argument got 0. So here we take our pass in user in. So if we give it 5, invalid selection. Perfect. I think I actually would like to if res equals false, let's just do if not res. Handle it again. Undefined. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay. So, this is something that I haven't actually thought about very much. Did I spell it wrong? Handle main menu. Selection. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same spelling. Let's do this. Oh no, it's not the same spelling. Selection. What's the difference here? Am I blind? I must be blind because clearly it's something wrong. Ah, it is. I spelled handle wrong. Okay, so we enter 5, invalid selection. It didn't print it again. Why are you not printing again? Because printing is somewhere else. So that was right. Printing comes from here. So in reality, we shouldn't be calling this here. We should be calling it in there. There we go. 5. Try again. What we need to do. Do I have this EasyMan OS yet? Do, but we can't do anything with it. So I would like to have it clear, be able to clear. That'd be nice. But whatever. Okay, so we handle main menu selection. Now this returns an integer. Excuse me. Selection. And we'll change this to keep that as long as it is 0. Otherwise, state is now equal to 1. That'll break us out of the loop, and then we will actually not return we will return. What do we want to do? We don't want to return state, we want to return selection. And we have to take the response. Actually, I might be able to do selection. That I haven't. Huh, that's a parsing issue. That's weird. I figure I did that. Int selection. Int. What is it doing? So response comes back as our boolean. If response is false, do it again. State is equal to 1, and selection equals int whatever the user input is, return selection. So if we say 1, good to go. That breaks out of that. Okay. Cool. So we got that. We handle the main menu, and this, we'll rename this to, we'll call it main menu response. We'll call it selection. All right. Now, when main menu selection is now, as far as actually handling the main menu, this gets printed. Show main menu. We no longer need this. Actually, we can actually move this into this function here. And this now actually is where we'll put our logic. So we'll pass in the selection as int. and it will return something, I'm sure, but when selection is 1, and we'll just print that 4 times, and it will have a default. And we'll change this to 2, this to 3, and this to 4. We can do that. Okay, so selection is 1 is new game. 2 is load game, which isn't going to do anything. Three is, I forget, settings. Trigger settings menu. And 4 is going to be exit. And this is new game. Now, we actually won't be able to have a default because the main menu, you only have 4 options. If it's not one of those 4 options, you are already told, hey, try again. So we need a default, but we could put something like, you should not have gotten here. Some logic is very wrong. Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to do println. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to do start init character creation, and this will return an adventurer. I'm gonna rename it back to hero. Adventure is too long. I think I haven't used it anywhere else, so init, and we'll just call it init hero creation, and it will return a hero. Okay. And let's make a constant out of this. Try to reduce magic numbers in my code. Okay. And when in doubt, call the function again. Okay. So we checked for the name length. Now we should check for my favorite thing, which I did this in OstrichDB earlier today or yesterday. Man, I really cannot get this zoom in right. It seems like it's either too much or too little. Also, page down is really pissing me off. Also, we need a constant here. Const min name len equals, call it 2. Hmm. Oh, my chair down there broke. I'm getting fat, man. For ch and invalid name chars if strings dot contains user in ch. Okay, we got length, and that should be about it. Let's go ahead and import and use strings. We actually, for strings, for some standard library modules, I don't like using statements. So I'll have the prefix like strings dot whatever or arrays dot whatever. I'm not a big fan of doing that, even in like Odin. Some like strings dot contains just makes more sense to me than seeing contains, because there's also possibility of collision. So that should be fine. And then this returns a hero. Now the hero takes more than just a name; it takes a race. So I don't want to put all this logic in this function, I'm actually going to probably do get hero name, and it'll return a string. And we can do all that logic we just did and move it down into there. Keep our code relatively clean. What is this for? This is for the if statement. No, this is for the if statement. This is for that. Right. Okay. Now is gonna do that. We actually could probably do the easy format utils.easy. Ooh, it formatted it incorrectly. Shit, that's not good. I have to look into that now. Yeah, that's all. Very wrong. Very wrong indeed. Okay. Do get hero race. We're gonna copy this real quick, and we'll do the same thing for races. So we'll just do races, string, and we're gonna have a human, an elf, an orc, and a dwarf. Let's do the same thing. Honestly, I don't care at this point. Okay. Just realized I haven't talked in a while. Kind of tired. I gotta stay up a bit longer. Also, I'm writing really stupid shit right now. This is so dumb. Cause yeah, that's not gonna work. Cause we gotta return something down here too. We could just have an invalid one. But that doesn't really work, does it? Well, seems a little extra for what we need. That seems a little extra. A little extra. Um. Yeah, I'm not too happy with all of that. It seems really dumb. There's no way for us to compare the enum to the integer. Actually, no, there is not because no, yeah. Okay, how would we? Well, also there was a feature that was fixed or implemented, I guess, recently. I want to make sure it's good, so we'll do that. Okay. Uh, get hero race. So first things we do is we get the hero name. Name equals, and we do mute race equals get hero race. And then we do mute h equals new. Just dereference it here because why not? We could do it the other. We don't have to do it this way. We could, and as opposed to doing that, we could just do mute h equals hero like that. But I kind of like this right here a little bit better because new returns a pointer to the past in type, so we can dereference it in the same statement like that. We return h. Otherwise, if we didn't do that here, we would have to do it down here, or just return like hero like this. But there's several different ways to do it. Let me just return h now. So what we need to do is actually, as opposed to doing name and all of that shit, we could just do h dot and then name h dot race. And I think that'll work. I'm gonna guess we get a few, oh shoot, few errors here. Undefined, check, how do I menu, escape sequence. Okay, so something is not, I think it's that. Yeah. Okay, function get hero name must return. Oh, right. Huh? What? Oh. Forgot to return the name. Return user in. And what else we got? Function handle main menu expects one argument. What? Handle main menu. Oh. I see. I shouldn't be calling this here because I moved that logic. I think. Oh. What the hell? Okay, got a C error. This is big. Anytime you find a C error leak, I try to, or anytime I find a C error leak, I try to string contains. That's why. But I still want to log it. So causes C error leakage. So user in why though? Easy string. Oh, what? Right. If let's comment that line out. Make a new line. If ch in user in. Oh, right. Trying to think here. I have this already. Ostrich GP, we'll just steal it. I'm already doing it somewhere. Let's just steal it again. Might be in collections. What am I thinking about this? I'm thinking about this wrong. This makes this a string. So if this string, or so for each string, an invalid chars. Invalid chars is just a string itself, though. So that is wrong. How I'm approaching that, and I've already lost where I was. We need to iterate over it again. But that would give us a char type, not a string type. Right? Yeah, no, that's supposed to be a char type. Hold on a second. What the heck is going on? What am I thinking about for each character and invalid characters? Right, yeah. Right, that's why. That's why we got the C leak. Because they're evaluating if the character, we're using a character in string contains. If in is not a thing. But if not in is a thing. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did I break? I broke something in the language. If in should be a thing. If, because we can do not in. Yeah, I broke the language. If in is supposed to be a thing, but we're getting a parser error when I tried that. I don't even know. I keep losing my place where I'm working at, man. Oh, this, zoom out for a second. Where the freak was I? Right here. I'll label that so I can come back to it later. It should, so if ch in, that's how it should, that should work, right? But it compiled. Kind of my menu selection. My menu selection is not printing our menu items. It's waiting for the input. Where are our menu items being printed at? Show main menu. Handle my menu selection. Where's handle my menu selection at? Did I delete the function? What the fuck? Where 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 did the function go? Hello main menu. I must have deleted it somehow. Not paying attention. IOTA for races. Show main menu. No, here it is. Show main menu. Where are you being called? I really tripped up on something. Um, Show main menu is what we want. But then response, handle main menu. Okay, oh my god, I am tripping, bro. This is the function. I'm just calling it within itself. Holy shit. Alright, there we go. So we do one. It is supposed to, we get the input. We check if it's valid. If it's not valid, do this. Otherwise, selection is that. Return the selection, and we pass the selection when we call this to here. Handle main menu, and I'm gonna change that name to main menu trigger. Had to get that thing wired up, and we'll pass the main menu selection. Okay, one, and oh, I'm not actually doing anything with it. So we need to now go ahead and init hero creation. There we go. We got a little text adventure game started. Click new game. We get to choose a race, and there you go. That's all we got so far. For right now, I think that's a good stopping point. Had some minor issues. I did find one bug with a C error leaking through. Now it wasn't supposed to compile in the first place, but there should have been an easy error code thrown as opposed to a C error leaking through, which is, I don't remember. Let's just look up bug right here. Right, so I wrote bad code and a C error leaked through as opposed to being caught and thrown a real valuable error for easy. Anyway, one feature that was now tested is I forgot what this is called. God damn, I'm tired. You don't have to do like the full enum access like that. You could just do, so long as the thing that you are evaluating or referencing or passing this to is definitely supposed to be the race or the type specific enum. In this case, race. We have, we're using not in, we're using in. We're using our for each. Yeah, I'm not using any crazy features right now. Just basic, very basic stuff. We're using our type conversions. When is statements with defaults. Nothing really major yet, but we'll probably get there. Anyway, I'm gonna call it there. Peace.